The letters?
Not yet, but I have copies. I'm good.
Sure.
Did we look into the database?
Yeah. Wasn't real.
Killer must have wanted something.
What do you mean?
You want a guy dead, and you've got his address. You just go over there and take him out. Easy peasy. Why write fake letters beforehand for weeks? Killer must have wanted something from him.
I am telling you, you just keep interrupting me.
I ain't interrupting you. I just want to know what the words were exactly.
What's going on?
You just getting here now?
Mary Jo got an anonymous call on the case. Franks is making her repeat it exactly.
It was a man who called. He had a small, quiet voice, and he said, Greg Piccolo did some bad deeds.
Come on, Mary Jo. Use the word deeds.
I mean, if he's going for drama, it makes sense.
He said deeds. And then he said, check out where he worked. Maybe not those exact words, but that was the gist of it, all right? Can I go about my life now?
Ooh. NCIS Origins follows a young Leroy Jethro Gibbs in 1991, years prior to the events of NCIS.
And Gibbs starts his career as a newly minted special agent at NCIS Camp Pendleton office, where he forges his place on a gritty team led by NCIS legend Mike Franks.
And the hit series reached its highest viewership yet with its mid-season premiere. That was recently. It was on January 27th, and we're trying to top that later tonight.
Absolutely. Ahead of tonight's new episode, stars from the show Kyle and Tyla join us this morning. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, guys.
This really takes us to the original, how it all started. Other than that, what does this show mean to you guys, and how does it sort of stand out as different than all the other NCIS episodes?
I think it's an incredible opportunity to kind of blend genres. You know, the original NCIS was kind of your standard procedural. And when we started developing NCIS Origins, it was an opportunity to really dive into the characters and making it a character-driven show and less of a case-oriented show. Now, we do have a case of the week every single week. We've broken the mold in that regard. Once, when we did have one episode without a case, that was the first time in franchise history of hundreds of episodes when we did that. But the writing is so damn good on this show, where we have your case of the week, but we also have these incredibly driven characters. It's like, you know, your NCIS meets This Is Us. It's just been a pleasure.
Well, you mentioned the writing on the show, and we just talked about viewership and those numbers on the 27th. Congrats about that. Why do you think folks are tuning in such high numbers? What's the secret there?
I think it's exactly what Kyle said. It's because they get a procedural, but they also get characters that they can learn so much more about and go deeper, and not just watch the crime be solved, but really get to know the characters that are solving them. So I think that combination makes people feel like I'm getting, you know, my cake and eating it too.
Everybody likes that. Thanks for mentioning cake, one of my favorites. All right, Kyle, why don't you talk about playing your character? You're about halfway through the season here. From the beginning episode to this episode, have you changed how you play the character? You're getting more comfortable with it? Has there kind of been a transition period, or did you know how you were going to form this character from day one?
There's always a transition period. I mean, there's a certain amount of nerves on set when you start playing a character. But at this point, it's kind of turnkey for me. I very much know who he is. I know how I'm going to react. There's a lot less preparation and more just living in the moment with him. And I think that's what kind of makes the character stand out, as just this kind of very organic, feeling natural kind of cowboy.
Cowboy indeed.
And Tyla, how about for you? How have you connected with your character, and how does it feel to be a part of this team and work alongside this cast?
Oh, well, it's wonderful to work alongside this cast. I mean, it's really a great group of people, and not just the cast, but the crew and showrunners and producers. It's all just a really, and I'm not just saying that, it's really good experience. And trying to develop Mary Jo as a character that's not in any of the other franchise roles is kind of interesting and fun. I don't have to follow anything that's been there before, and I can develop her on my own. It's interesting trying to be this serious character, but involved in procedurals. Now, that's something that Tyla is getting used to, because they're good at just running off the details of whatever the crime is. And I find myself like, okay, I've got to say this exactly because this is specific so the audience knows what happened. And so that's always interesting for me as I develop Mary Jo, to make that language really as easy as my castmates. They do it wonderfully.
Well, it sounds like you two are having a lot of fun making this show, NCIS Origins, a new episode tonight on CBS. Of course, you can always catch it on Paramount Plus. Thank you very much for joining us, Kyle and Tyler. Appreciate it.